Do you remember when Geico's slogan was, "It's so easy a caveman can do it"? Well, we're bringing it to Dark Souls. Can I beat Dark Souls Remastered as a caveman? Yes, that's the reason I'm posting this video. But it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, okay? I can only use things that a caveman would realistically be able to use. This means clubs only, no armor, no shields, no rings, no consumables that a caveman could not use. I also cannot use keys or items unless they are essential to progress the game in order to beat it. So if this means I have to miss out on a boss, I miss out on a boss. But if I need, say, the Covenant of Artorias to take on the Four Kings, I need to put on that ring. I am allowed to use boss souls to get extra level ups because it's disrespectful to the animal if you don't eat the meat after the hunt. However, I'm not allowed to use souls that I find in the world because we don't just eat roadkill around here. Alright, we're civilized. As civilized as a caveman can be, at least. There will definitely be more rules introduced along the way because I've already done the playthrough and I'm recording this after the fact, but I forget what they are right now and I've never been able to script a video, so we're going to figure it out as we go along. I named my character Arnold Palmer because he too was pretty good with the club. We're going for the deprived class with no starting gift, just a stick and 11 in all stats, as Mother Nature intended. As soon as I've gone through and pushed some sliders as far as they go, we're ready to head out. And by that I mean head in to the Undead Asylum, which is where we start the game. The first lesson learned in the journey of evolution is that we cannot solve all the problems that we have with our fists. As cavemen, we must evolve to use tools, to use weapons, to use clubs, which is what we'll be picking up right now, and leaving the wooden shield. I make my way to Oscar and just talk to Oscar. Cavemen can't talk. Cavemen can't talk. What does this mean for us? New rule. We're not allowed to talk to NPCs. Caveman can't talk, which means I will not be able to upgrade my weapons for this run. Yay. I'm not sure what he's yapping about, but he drops a tasty iced tea lemonade mix. I jump off this ledge and introduce the Asylum Demon to my chipping wedge. Yes, there's probably going to be some weird golf references in this video as well as caveman references, because like clubs, how many jokes can I make? I gotta diversify a little bit. In Firelink, I start by grabbing the home bones. Yeah, home bones are magic. They teleport you. Caveman can't teleport. But cavemen use bones. Bones are a caveman thing. A little give and take. We're still in a fantasy world. And I make the rules, so I say it's okay. Parrying in this game is very satisfying when you do it with a shield, but when you do it barehanded, there's an extra level of satisfaction that you get. It's just... Further into Undeadburg, I do get humbled a little bit, but I need to practice my parries as much as I can to get ready for Gwyn. I clear out some enemies, skillfully dodge the flaming barrel without any issue. I've literally never learned the timing on that dodge, and then I make my way through the fog gate to take on the Taurus Demon. Cavemen can climb. Cavemen can use ladders. I'll allow it. I take out the boss very quickly using intended game design twice. I've never actually hit that plunging attack in the boss fight twice. I didn't even know you could. I mean, I don't know why I didn't think you could, because the ladder's right there and the boss is right there and he doesn't really move that much, but I don't know. This is the first time I did it 2 times, but it worked out perfectly. Taurus Demon first try. I see this guy staring out into the sun, wondering what he's thinking, but I can't talk to him, so I just give him a bow and continue on my way. I run across the bridge, skillfully dodging fire. You red kite Drake. One thing I love about this game is that you can literally run past everything and it doesn't even matter. I grab the Undead Parish bonfire and I make my way down to Andre so that we can not talk to him, so that we can do nothing. Which also means we'll have to kill him later, because we can't buy the Crest of Artorias, because we can't talk to him. I go down to the Dark Root Basin and collect some essentials. Okay, not the armor. I'm not using the armor, but I will be using the bow. And then I learn how gravity works. But what did my foot even hit here? What is that? I grab my souls back and say a good how do you do to the Black Knight. And I definitely don't die to him because I forgot the timing on the parries. Also, did I mention that we can't use the Grass Crest shield in this run? We'll be able to get like the green grass that increases stamina regen as a consumable, but no Grass Crest really sucks. We now make the journey for our first big weapon upgrade, making our way through the Valley of the Drakes, and then we're hitting Blighttown from behind, if you know what I mean. Then I go to the big boulder guys who unleash attacks that I've never seen before. This one where he's rolling the freaking boulder at me like he's building a snowman. I've been playing Dark Souls for 5 years and I've never seen that. Anyway, we get our great club and then homebone back to the parish. No, to the basin. We test out our new club, we'll call it the Fairway Driver, on the knight that guards the Firekeeper soul. I don't know what you call it. It's just the knight that guards the Firekeeper soul, but it does good damage. And then it's time for the bell gargoyles, the first boss of the run. Unsurprisingly, our damage is great. 20 strength with the great club. I can't really ask for more. My only problem is I am one greedy son of a and I don't care about punishable windows. I just want to do damage. So I died. But the next time I was just as greedy, but I had a better stunlock cycle and I got him. Gargoyle's done. 2 tries. You can ring my bell. Ring my bell. There's only one cutscene in this game that I don't skip, and you're in luck, it's coming up soon. I level Vitality to 15 and Endurance to 13, and then make my way back to Firelink Shrine, where I see this dude staring at the girl in jail under the bonfire. But I introduce him to my foot rather swiftly. Unfortunately, I cannot use the Ring of Favor and Protection because that violates the rules, so I equip it and then unequip it, which breaks it. There will be no fapping in my shrine, you hear me? If there's one thing that this run teaches me, it's that I love the Master Key, and I hate not having the Master Key. Because now we have to go all the way back to Blighttown, through the Undead Parish, through the basin, down the elevator, through the Valley of the Drakes, hit Blighttown from behind again, hey yo, what's up, and then do the roll, and take more damage, and go down the wheel, and then roll through the Poison Swamp, and then we roll through to Quelaag's Nest. Then we get to the best cutscene in the game, however missed demonetization is going to pose some issues for me, so I apologize, gamers. We do okay damage against Quelaag, it's nothing to complain about. I will say I probably know this boss fight better than a lot of the rest of them. Just stay in the legs and then run away when she does the AoE. Quelaag's easy, first try, and we ring the second bell. I don't have enough health to survive the drop down into the demon ruins, so I do homebone back to the bonfire and run all the way back here after killing Quelaag. And we make our way through another fog gate, which leads to some dude guarding the undergarments of his dead sister that I'm just gonna take because they're there, which angers him, rightfully so, and he tries to chase me down a long hallway and trips and falls, and I tried to offer him a hand, but unfortunately I was too late. Thus, Ceaseless Discharge is dishonorably discharged. I don't know. I never claimed to be funny, alright? I just wanted to make a video. Stat updates. I think I leveled Vitality to 20 after Quelaag. I don't remember, but this is what they look like now. And now, since I rested at the Blighttown elevator, I get to climb my way back out. The toxic knife they're the most annoying son of a in this game. Also, this happened. What is that? I fell through a non-existent crack? How did this one even hit me? It didn't even do damage. It just did toxic. It did the knife damages, and then there's an AoE, like a toxic blast afterwards. So instead of trying to make a break for it, I gave him a piece of my mind. And apparently those enemies don't respawn. So the next time I climbed back up, they weren't there, and boom, free ticket out of Blighttown, baby. 97-year-old Dark Souls runner escapes Blighttown the old-fashioned way. We do the entire backtracking route all the way back to Undeadburg, where we have to perform a little skip to get to Capra Demon. I mean, I don't know if we actually have to do this skip to get to Capra Demon, but I didn't look it up and I saw someone else do it, so I thought it'd be cool to try. It took me a few attempts, sure, but I finally got it. And then I panic rolled like a motherfucker away from those dogs. We perform a clutch little quit out that resets enemy aggro. We can finally get our charcoal pine resin and toxic pine resin by talking to the undead female merchant that we're not allowed to talk to. I forgot about that. Because I was so eager to get my hands on some damage boosters, I did spam talk to the undead female merchant right away. I atoned for my sin and I jumped off a high ledge right after, okay? This does pose an issue. We will not have access to the poison resin or the fire resin. We will just be doing base weapon damage. After my graceful swan dive, I make my way back to the Capra Demon boss fight room, and I thought this was going to be a little tricky because my club doesn't swing very fast and there's dogs and the Capra Demon. Somehow I got lucky and the dogs just got stuck and I was able to hit them. I did 100% whiff my first plunge attack, but the next 3, I think, we're good. No problem. 5 stars. First try Capra Demon. I know that we can't get the resins from the undead female merchant, but there is one thing we could get, and that is the club. The large club, I think it's called, and it drops from the dudes that you run into when you hit Blighttown from behind. So I made my way back all the way through the parish and the garden and the basin and the elevator and the Valley of the Drakes to hit Blighttown from behind to start farming these guys. Now, the reason I'm farming these guys instead of the ones actually down in Blighttown, only the ones that have the club will drop the club. The ones with the rocks drop something else. I forget what it is. I think it's a shield or something. This was my farming route. I would go in, I'd kill these 3, I'd jump off the ledge, I'd spawn back in the Darkroot Basin, do a 2-minute run all the way back, and luckily it didn't take long. I think I got it on my, I'm gonna say 15th. I don't know. I have the footage up, but I don't want to look at it. I got it though. Look, here it is. The freaking club, bro. We got it. Anyway, foreshadowing, I don't think I procced poison on literally a single boss. So this was all for nothing. Yep. Now it's time for Sen's Fortress, and boy, did this area used to scare me when I first played Dark Souls. Now it's like I can run through it with my eyes closed. We make our way past the cleavers, we go through, there's some snake people. It really just isn't that intimidating for me.
You just got scripted bouldered. Send this to all your friends to totally scripted boulder them.
We run through a little more, perform a sick McNasty quit out that literally everyone and their mother knows to do, but I don't know. It's cool, okay? I feel cool when I do quit outs. And then we make it out the other side, and I do take the safety bonfire because Mama did raise a bit. And we're finally at the stage where we can acquire the green grass that increases our stamina regen. All we have to do is make this jump and then talk to Iron Tarkus. Talk. We have to talk. We have to talk. We have to buy it. We have to talk to him. We do not get the green grass that increases stamina regen. Anyway, we make our way to Iron Golem. It's not too hard. If you run up the left side, you can just dodge the air attack at the beginning without having to do anything, which is pretty cool. And then, you know, you just be the dick. In Dark Souls, if you don't know what to do, just be the dick. You just stay in the crotch and you press R1 and you usually win the fights. Our damage to Iron Golem is less than I'd like it to be, but it's not terrible. He does get me in his grab attacks a few times, but I have found out that if you're still pretty high on Estus, you just quit out and then it spawns you back at the fog gate and you just heal up and try again and not have to run through it. So that's what I did a couple times. I'm a gamer, no big deal. We do enough damage to stagger, but we don't do enough damage to make him fall down, but in the end it doesn't really matter. Iron Golem, 4 or 5 attempts, depending on if you count my quit outs. Now we get to my favorite part of Dark Souls, Anal Rodeo. I grab the bonfire and exchange awkward glances with the Firekeeper. I'm not sure when the last time I checked in on stat allotment was, but this is what they are now. I munch on the Golem soul and Quaelag's soul to get an extra 2 levels of vitality, and then it's time to brave Anor Londo. We head down the elevator, I perform a sick McNasty gamer jump. I don't know why I keep switching between I and we. I don't understand my narrator point of view yet, but as I keep making these videos, I'm sure that I might one day. Anyway, oh, I did the rafter skip. You see that? Saves 1 second when you're speedrunning. Let's go. I crank the lever to raise the bridge and then quickly quit out because there's a painting guardian on my ass. And would you believe that when I load back in, I'm not on the bridge anymore. I'm back in the painting guardian area. So I got a home phone all the way back to the Anor Londo bonfire because I completely forgot there was a lever there that let me just rotate it back like a dumbass. But this part used to scare me. It doesn't really anymore. You just do a jump here, a quit out there, let this Silver Knight take care of himself, and you're through. I level my endurance to 21, and then I introduce the Silver Knights to my 3 wood. They love it. I open a door and go into the secret fireplace where I can get the ultimate club weapon. Did you know technically all clubs in this game are hammers? Anyway, I get the Dragon Tooth. And I know what you're thinking. How would a caveman get their hands on a dragon tooth? You. A caveman would have used teeth as weapons or serrated edges to put on their weapons, okay? A caveman might have used a mammoth tusk. But what's the mammoth of the fantasy world? A dragon. And this weapon's slow as and I can't upgrade it, so you can't get mad at me. Unfortunately, we can't wield the dragon tooth until we have at least 30 strength, so it's still gonna be a hot minute. And we kill the mimic for the occult club, which Ornstein and Smo technically have a weakness to. Then all we have to do is run up the spiral staircase, do the super impressive jump skip, fall down, take a little bit of damage, but not too much, swiftly dodge the guys with the big halberds, go through the fog gate, and fight Ornstein and Smo. I'm gonna keep it a stack. This is where the run went to When I have fought Ornstein and Smo literally every other time I play Dark Souls, I either do an insane amount of damage because I am speedrunning, or I have a faster weapon or some sort of status effect that I can do. The first time I played this game, I had magic, but I also didn't really use magic. I used like infused Uji Katana with like greater magic weapon. Needless to say, this was atrocious. I really don't know what else to say. Here is a supercut of me dying to Ornstein and Smo while I sing the Wii Shop Channel song. Do 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 do. Do 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 Thank you. After throwing myself against the Ornstein and Smo brick wall for what felt like forever, I think I farmed like 120,000 souls here over the course of an hour and a half, 2 hours, just going through and parrying the Silver Knights. It was not fun, but it was something new, and I was kind of soft-locked in Anor Londo until I killed ONS anyway. I couldn't go back to the Iron Golem arena because you have to talk to the demon in order to trigger that interaction. I was just stuck. And I couldn't fight Gwyndolin because you need either the Dark Moon Seance ring to get in there, or you need to make it dark in Anor Londo. So ONS was the only possible way forward, and the Silver Knights were just a gentle reprieve in the middle to give me a new feeling for a little bit. My final level ups after the farming were to get my faith to 15, which would let the occult club do a little bit more damage, and I'd still have that speed of the weapon, and I got my strength to 28. But there was still only one path forward. In the end, it was just occult club and chip damage until they were finally dead. Holy. Oh my gosh. Oh, let's go. Ornstein and Smo, 71 attempts. I'm a bad gamer, okay? I know, you don't have to tell me. After tasting sweet, sweet victory, I went up the elevator, lit the bonfire, and I was ready for my prize. Guinevere. Praise the sun. She started yapping at me. Of course, I didn't understand what she was saying, but the prompt here was not talk, it was kneel. And I'd kneel for Guinevere any day of the week, if you know what I mean. That is a pixel, Nathan. You're saying that about a pixel. 2 pixels. Anyway, we listen to what she has to say, get the Lord Vessel, and then I upgrade my strength to 30 and my endurance to 23. This means we can finally wield yay old dragon tooth, but only two-handed, and we mid-roll with it. I've always been a fast-rolling scrub, okay? I never learned how to mid-roll, so you're about to see some really awful gameplay. I went to Andre and tried to barter. I tried to pay him for the Crest of Artorias with the Dragon Tooth, but it was too heavy for him, and it actually caused a workplace injury, so he wasn't too happy about that. When I was trying to run away and explain the situation as best I could without words, unfortunately the Titanite demon sniped him with lightning. We got the Crest of Artorias, so that's good. I used the Crest of Artorias to open the door, run past the advanced AI NPCs in the area, run past, what's her name? Cat lady. I don't know. I don't talk to her because I can't talk, even if it's an animal. And then I make my way to Artorias' grave. The fight with Seath goes as you expect. The damage is okay. I could make an all dogs go to heaven joke, but I feel like it's too easy. And oh, look at this. Look what happens when you get Seath to such low HP. She's just limping, and I feel bad. Let's just put her down. Someone call the Humane Society to get this dog. They're not long for this world. Seath goes down without a problem. First try. Don't call PETA. I go back to admire the pixels one last time. Don't ask me, I homeboned from Seath's arena and it just put me here. I didn't do it on purpose. And I level my endurance to 25. The race is on to 31 endurance because at 31, we will be able to fast roll with the Dragon Tooth. Giant Snake Man looks like he wants to chat, but I don't know his language, so I just jump in his hole. I place the Lord Vessel, completing my Minecraft beacon, and turn on Haste 2. It's such a bad joke. Dude starts yapping again, but all I know is I'm the chosen undead, and he can go f*** himself. I wave goodbye and then start the treacherous parkour mission in order to get to the bird's nest at the top of Firelink Shrine. This allows you to curl up like a ball and get picked up and dropped back off at the Undead Asylum. I didn't know this for the longest time too, and the first time I saw it, I was like, there's more game? We take out the torch-wielding hollows that definitely don't almost kill me, and light the bonfire at the beginning of the game because we never did it at the start because I just ran past it. We, I, us, it's so fun to do things together. Once that's taken care of, we drop down to the first Asylum Demon boss reskin. The second Asylum Demon. What's it called? Demon Firesage. No, that's the third one. What is it called? It's on the screen now. I know I'm talking over the game footage. What the... I'm not looking. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out the name of this boss before the boss fight's over. Asylum Demon. And then you come back, and it's the demon... Not the Demon Firesage. It's the other one. It is the demon from down below. It's the demon from underneath. The beast from the Undead Asylum. It's the... Firesage. It's not the Firesage. Why do I keep saying Firesage? It's the Stray Demon. We take on the Stray Demon with our clubs. The Stray Demon, in my humble opinion, is much easier than the Demon Firesage, which is the third reskin of the Asylum Demon. You'll see it later. And I'll get into the problems with the Demon Firesage when we fight it, but the Stray Demon, it's a pretty straightforward fight. You whack it, it's about to do an AoE, you run away. You just run in and whack it off. Stray Demon, first try, no complaints. We journey forth to our original holding cell, and I introduce the Black Knight to my putter. I don't know, what do we call the occult club? I don't know. Anyway, we hit it. It's dead. And we get the peculiar doll. This doll looks like it's, made of wood and straw. And if you think that it is allowed in my playthrough, keep watching. If you think it's not allowed, here's a timestamp. You're going to skip there and pretend this part never happened. I pop some more boss souls and boost my endurance to level 28, and then warp back to Anne Orlando, where I go down the elevator again and do an even crazier gamer jump, and I make my way to this fine painting. And you may be saying, what would a caveman do to a painting? Well, I don't know. I think a caveman would be curious about a painting and mayhaps inspect it. So I go and inspect the painting, and what do you know? I teleport to the painted world of Aramis. Yay! I usually just run through the painted world. I don't really care. I don't have to get souvenirs or anything, so I'm just basically rushing Priscilla at the end. I want to see those toes. And then I hit a little roadblock. I guess I don't remember this game as well as I thought I did. I died to the undead dragon before Priscilla 3 times. The first 2 times were because I thought I just had to run past it, because I haven't played this in so long. And then the second time was because I got greedy and I forgot that it had more than just the poison breath attack. Eventually I found out you could stand on one side of the pillar and bait the poison breath to go in the middle, and then just run to the right side, get a hit in, and then run back. It took like 5 minutes of running back and forth, just doing chip damage on the dragon, but we got it done. And then I made my way to Priscilla to admire my favorite toes that Miyazaki has ever created. Oh, sorry, you're right. Second favorite toes that Miyazaki has created. We get confronted by a barefoot half-breed dragon mommy, and she probably had something cool to say, but I don't know how to talk. So I introduced her to my driver, my #1 club. And I wish I could say Priscilla put up a fight, but we do so much poise damage that she was invisible for all of 5 seconds, and we did a lot of damage, so no notes. Priscilla, first try. Struck with the realization that I am no longer living in a world with perfect feet, I take a swan dive at the end of the painted world. To my dismay, I end up back in Anne Orlando. I wave goodbye to the painting guardians and level up my endurance to 30. I make my way to the Darkroot Garden again, this time to take on the Moonlight Butterfly. I run past the slumbering giant, up the stairs, through the fog gate. I wish I could say that this was a fair fight, but the butterfly brought magic to a fly swatter fight. That was stupid. We do a lot of damage to the Moonlight Butterfly. I do forget that depth perception is a thing for a little bit, but I redeem myself. And we kill the butterfly in 2 cycles, which is pretty good. First try, baby. I lied about 31 endurance. I don't know what it actually is supposed to be, but you'll see when we start fast rolling with the dragon tooth, but it is definitely not 31. I've been saying it was 31 for the past little bit, and I lied to you. I walked past a weapon shop and reprimanded a blacksmith who was sleeping on the job. Who are we hiring these days? I go through the basin and the elevator and the Valley of the Drakes, and I hit Blight Town from the backside. Hey, I make my way through Quaylag's domain, and then I gotta talk to this guy with the egg. But I can't talk to the guy with the egg, so I can't hit this bonfire unless I kill him. But if I kill him, then I risk the worms getting on my head, and then I don't want that to happen, and I don't know where to get the egg vermif, and I clearly don't have Google, or I would have Googled that there was definitely another way to do it, and I could have hit this bonfire and saved myself so much time, but I didn't do that. Instead, I just went to the demon ruins, and we're going from there. Okay. Bow mention. I use the bow to distract the Capra demon on the cliff. If you shoot an arrow there, he goes to check it out, and then he's like, oh, there's nothing here, let's just walk away, and then falls to his death. So free 800 souls, and you don't have to fight another Capra demon. I make my way through the unfinished part of the game, as us diehard Soulsborne fans call it, through the, oh, you fought that boss earlier, and now it's a basic enemy part of the game. I do like that mechanic, but when they're placed like this, what are you doing? So I make my way through, and now it's time to fight the demon Firesage. And I have some things to say about this boss fight, okay? The demon Firesage is the 3rd reskin of the Asylum Demon. It has the same move set as the Stray Demon, I think with more AoE attacks, or maybe it's the same exactly, I'm not sure, but I think it has a little bit further reach, because there were times that I was like, oh, I'm totally safe, and I can Estus here, and then boom, get catalysted. But the one thing that makes this boss fight harder than the Stray Demon, in my opinion, is the size of the arena. It is much, much smaller. It's much easier to get stuck and then not be able to avoid the AoE attacks. And I'd say that killed me more than anything, just being stuck. The damage from the Dragon Tooth is pretty good. I just didn't want to trade mid-rolling for more damage when it was a boss fight where I needed mobility. It was a battle of attrition. It was a long fight, but we got it done. Demon Firesage, 11 attempts. Not great, but not as bad as Ornstein and Smo. I had like 1 HP and no Estus, so I opted to homebone back to the Demon Ruins bonfire. And then I realized that the big worm on the wall was guarding a bonfire this whole time, and I didn't have to keep running from that far. But I quickly realized for no reason at all that I probably didn't need the bonfire at this point, so I just left it. I upgrade my endurance to 32, and we're finally fast rolling with the dragon tooth. It took so long. No Fap ring, no Havel's ring. This is pure endurance, baby. Probably the most I've ever had. And then we make our way to Centipede Demon's boss arena. Centipede Demon is a dumb boss. You have to get hit a lot by the lava just to get to a nice area to fight it in. I just started swanging with the tooth, just swanging that thing. I didn't realize at what point during the boss fight I cut off the arm, but it was chasing me at one point, but I just ran away from it and kept on swanging at the Centipede Demon. Got it dead, first try, no complaints. Caught. I'm using another ring. Caught. I'm using the orange charred ring because there's no way to get around the lava damage, and I need it to progress. So we're opting to use the ring and go through the Lake of Dragon Asses. You thought the game was unfinished earlier? Let me introduce you to dragon butt enemies everywhere. And that's it. Great game. We run past the dragon butts and past the most upsetting enemy in the game, and then I get absolutely laid out by the Witch of Ceaseless right outside the Bed of Chaos's boss arena. I make it back the second time and introduce her to my tailor-made. I realize at the fog gate, as I'm setting up for my Bed of Chaos cheese, I don't have the fire bombs. So I warp back to Firelink Shrine, I get the fire bombs, and then I go back up the elevator, through the Undead Parish, down the Darkroot Garden, down to the Darkroot Basin, down the elevator, through the Valley of the Drakes, hit Plate Town the back way, make my way to Quaelag's domain, and then I run through the Demon Ruins, I run through the Firesage boss arena, I run through the Centipede Demon boss arena, and I finally get back to the Bed of Chaos. And you may be thinking, fire bombs? Really? First of all, Bed of Chaos is stupid and I refuse to fight it normally after learning about the cheese. Second of all, I will justify it like this. I was not able to use the stamina grass. I was not able to use the poison resin. I was not able to use the fire resin. I was not able to upgrade my weapons. I was not able to use any equipment. I foraged these fire bombs, okay? They were found in nature, and cavemen can use things found in nature. If you watch Dr. Stone, Senku shows us how to make nitroglycerin and gunpowder, and I'm gonna say that this caveman has some f***ing fire bombs in his back pocket, and the Bed of Chaos is dead. Boom. Literally. A little pause before we get into the final few bosses. I just want to say that this is my first challenge run ever, and I know it's not even really that big of a challenge. I mean, it's just beating the game with clubs. Not super impressive, but I just wanted to do something that would make the game fresh for me and also make a video, and I hope it's entertaining. If there's a challenge run that you would want to see, let me know in the comments, and if you just want to say the videos, feel free to do that too. After Bed of Chaos, we make our way to the Duke's Archives, where we bob and weave our way around the crystal and make our way to the elevator, where I perform Duke Skip. First try, by the way. I did Duke Skip for two reasons. One, it makes going through this area just a lot faster, and by this point, honestly, I was running out of steam a little bit. And two, 9 times out of 10, in the first encounter with Seath when you have to die, I get cursed. I just have real bad luck with it, and I didn't want to get cursed because I can't use a Purging Stone, so thinking back, maybe I should have done Seath as the last Lord Soul, but here we are. I go through the Crystal Caverns, deal with the clams, and it's finally time for Seath, where we use our bow again to destroy his immortality crystal, because that's the easiest way to do it. And if you shoot the crystal instead of running to it and then running back to Seath, you can really capitalize on that window where he's like, "Oh, you son of a bitch, you broke my immortality crystal, I'ma kill you." And you can get like 3, 4, 5 free hits in. I died to Seath a few times simply because I was stupid, and once I realized that you can actually dodge the crystals instead of just getting insta-killed by them, it went a lot smoother. Lord Soul 2 done, 7 attempts. How does it feel, Seath, to be a bitch? I decide to tackle New Londo Ruins next, and it's a little tricky because how would a caveman use Transient Curse? It wouldn't, so I do the whole thing without Transient Curse, which means I can't actually make contact with the ghost people. I run through screaming for my life, trying to get to Ingward, and I have never experienced these ghosts so aggro when I'm trying to go up this ladder. I think I died 4 times, at least. It was incredible. But after finally making it to Ingward, I realize I can't get my thoughts across without words, so I have to take the key forcefully. After that, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to draining the ruins, and we can try and take on the 4 kings. Oh, I gotta use a ring. I have to equip the Covenant of Artorias in order to traverse the abyss. Caught. You caught me. The 4 Kings is the biggest DPS race in the game. The first king spawns, and then I believe 30 seconds after that, another king spawns, and 30 seconds after that, another king spawns, and I don't know how many can actually spawn, but it tends to be a lot to handle when you don't do enough damage to kill 1 king before the next one spawns. And guess what we don't do? Enough damage to kill 1 king before the next one spawns. After a first try with the 4 kings, I decide it's a good idea to open up the path to Nito, just so I can kind of go back and forth if I really want to. So I make my way through the catacombs using gravity to my advantage, and then I get to Pinwheel, the most boss fight of the entire run. Blink and you'll miss it. After brushing aside Pinwheel, it's time to conquer the Tomb of the Giants, the other best part of this game. What's its gimmick? It's pitch black. Good luck. You. Now, I don't have a sunlight maggot and I don't have a skull lantern, two things a caveman would not realistically use. So what do? I go Ultra Instinct Luke Skywalker mode and I feel it out. I slide down the tomb tops, I roll through some bones, I drop to the first bonfire. Checkpoint. Then I climb back up the ladder and I hug the right side of the wall, go through the fog gate, walk forward for like 2 to 3 seconds and then look to my left and run towards the item while dodging the skeleton archer, and then I roll off the ledge at a precise angle that puts me just barely on the ledge below it. I do some more rolling, dropping, and running, and now we're finally free to get to Nito's boss arena. And why does Nito's boss arena suck? Well, you're gonna lose at least half your HP when you drop down into it, and you better not heal right away because he might do the sword plunge attack, which if you have a halberd, holding block moves your feet apart in such a way that you're able to just dodge the sword without moving, but I can't do that. And then you have to worry about the extra skeletons, try not to aggro the big skeletons in the back, and Nito's gonna be a rough boss fight for us as well. After a few attempts each on Nito and the 4 kings, I decided I wanted to do something fresh, and there was actually one more boss that I could kill. So I went back to Anor Londo, popped Guinevere's right boob, and now with a Dark Anor Londo, I was free to dispose of Gwyndolin without the Dark Moon Seance ring. But I f***ed up. I don't know if it's intended game design, and I don't know this, but if you make it dark in Anor Londo, and then you happen to maybe accidentally kill the firekeeper on the bridge, anytime you die in Anor Londo, no matter what bonfire you rest at, you will always respawn at the default original Anor Londo bonfire, which made running back to Gwyndolin so frustrating and annoying. First of all, I can't believe I died to them multiple times, but to make matters worse, every time I did die, I would have to make the run all the way back from the original Anor Londo bonfire. After remembering the moveset and that Gwyndolin is a little bitch, I dispose of them in 4 tries. GG. I decide that Nito is probably going to be the easier of the 2 Lord Souls that I have left, so I decide to focus him. Luckily, I can warp to the Tomb of the Giants bonfire, and this time, running to Nito, I got jump scared by a bald guy who I wanted to show my dragon tooth to, but he didn't seem too happy about it. The biggest problem I was facing in the Nito boss fight was managing the skeletons. Luckily, if you stay where you are and let Nito come to you once you drop into the arena, you only really aggro the first 3, which is more manageable than 5 and 2 giant ones. However, if you stay where you are, when you first enter the boss arena, he loves to spam the sword through the ground, which gives you the toxic effect if you get hit by it, so good luck with that. I wish I could say it's skill, but the Nito fight boiled down to me getting lucky that he was just taking out his own skeleton crew, and he goes down in like probably 15 attempts. It was rough. And then it was just down to the DPS race of the 4 kings. I still wasn't able to use charcoal pine resin or rotten pine resin. I did find out that charcoal pine resin does drop through an online mechanic. It's like if you drop an item or fail to recover souls or humanity, that bloodstain or item has a chance to go into another player's online world as a vagrant, and if you kill one of the vagrant variants, it drops the charcoal pine resin. It was too confusing. I didn't want to do it. Honestly, I just didn't want to do it. Through the pain and suffering of slamming my dragon tooth against the 4 kings, it was very clear that I did need some sort of damage upgrade. And then I thought back to what other weapon buffs there could be, and then I remembered that the only reason I wasn't using gold pine resin was because it was locked in a chest in Undeadburg where you had to use the residence key. But then I finally smartened up and did some googling and found out that the big mushroom people in the Darkroot Garden drop gold pine resin. And what do the 4 kings have a slight weakness to? Lightning. I want you to know that this was kind of a cop-out, I know, even though it's a drop from an enemy. Like, would a caveman realistically put lightning on his weapon? At this point, I was losing steam. I had been going at the 4 kings for probably 4 or 5 hours at least, and I just really wanted to get the run done and the video done, and okay, you can attack me in the comments, but I didn't buy it. It was an enemy drop, and maybe this caveman found a 9-volt battery and plugged it into his club and just went to town. You can decide for yourself whether you think it's allowed in the run or not. I don't really care. I just wanted to get it over with at the end of the day. 4 kings, a bunch of attempts. I'll put it on the screen, but it was a lot of hours. With all 4 Lord Souls collected, it was time to offer them to the vessel, open the door to the kiln of the first flame, and make our way to fight Gwyn, Lord of Parry. As I go through the fog gate, I remember all the bare-handed parries I made throughout this game. I remember the practice, the farming, the blood, sweat, and tears that went into parrying every enemy that I possibly could in preparation for this, and Gwyn still took me about 2 hours. I don't know what it is. I just get in my head about parrying Gwyn. I don't know why. Every other enemy is fine, but when it's Gwyn, I'm like, oh, it's a boss. Oh, I can't parry. I'm so bad at parrying. Another thing that made this fight hard is I wanted to do as much damage as possible and just get it over with, so I opted to use the Dragon Tooth, which I couldn't one-hand, so I would have to one-hand the Dragon Tooth, parry, switch to two-handing, get the riposte, and then go back to one-handing. I got punished because I couldn't figure out in my head that I had to swap between one-handing and two-handing the weapon because I was a weak little bitch. But then finally, after numerous attempts, I got it down to a science. I go in one-handing, I parry the first attack, I two-hand, I riposte, I circle back around to the right shoulder, I do a two-handed R1, and then I go back to one-handing. If he does the grab, I have enough time to two-hand and go in for an R1, and then if he just goes for a sword swing, I can go for the parry. The other good thing about this fight is I was able to stagger Gwyn in about 2 hits, so if there was any doubt that I wasn't going to be able to hit the parry, or if I just needed to get him off me, I could go in for that second hit and get the stagger. It probably shouldn't have taken me as long as it did, but in the end, we got Gwyn. And that's the end of the run. I know I was a little lenient with some of the things. The only boss we didn't kill was the Gaping Dragon because we needed a key specifically to go down into the depths. I mean, maybe there was another route that I could have taken that I didn't need the key, but again, I didn't Google anything until like after I was done recording. So hopefully in the future my challenge runs will be a little bit more challenging, but I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.